I'm Chris Thomas, and this is Master Class. So we're just going to review a few things that we've been working on. We're going to start out with a pressure point, lung number 8. So we use it off a grab, and the feeling is where a nurse takes a pulse, and then there's a pocket right inside the bone. So I start on the pulse, go to the pocket. Start on the pulse, go to the pocket. Now at the same time, my hand's going to make 2 rotations. One rotation is this way, as if I'm turning his hand palm up, and the other rotation is this way, kind of like Wally J. Small Circle. I'm going to do both of those 2 things at the same time.
Oh.
Right, and so then the next piece is what I do is I add in an extra pressure point because that makes it work better. Now I don't have to. I can just do that, and that's going to be sufficient. But it's always nice when you can add extra points, because the more points you add, the more effective it is. Now we also have a point here, lung 5, in the cubital crease. And if I want to just push on it with my thumb, so it's right there. If I push on it with my thumb, I'm actually going to stretch the nerve up towards his body first, and then I'm going to hook it back and pull down this way. But it's actually a hit point. So that what you really do is you hit it in the direction of your own hip. So it's the shape of the letter C, this way. Now if I combine that with this point too, then it's very, very easy. So grab with the other hand. So again, this is lung 5. Lung 5, Chinese name is Sensei, and as I do this, I hit, and I'm kind of coming towards my hip like this, is making a C shape, and I grab, so if I grab lung 8, I get the same reaction. This is redundancy, where I have 2 things that produce the same body response, so I just do them together. Then it's worse. And so this is how we put the points together. If he is thinking he's going to punch me, or he's making that threat like, ooh, you dirty rat. If I grab him from the inside, he can see this and can pull his hand away because it passes through the vision of both eyes. If I come from this side, this eye sees it, but not this eye. So if I grab from the outside and I catch lung 8, that's awesome. So if I grab this, see how I'm down here with my little finger? Now watch. So I'm using my little fingers to release heart 8, or lung 8, so that means that I'm also cranking higher up on the wrist, and this is actually interesting. So down here, my ring finger and my little finger are on lung 8, but look where my middle finger went, because as his hand bends, it goes right into the crease of his wrist. Right into the crease of his wrist is lung 9. So then, as I'm starting to put the pressure on it and bend this back like I'm going to do kata gaishi with one hand, I'm actually going to add pressure there on lung 9. I'm pushing on lung 9 right now. Yeah. You can also go both ways, where you kind of slap your hands together, because it's very easy to clap your hands. So you just clap your hands. I got it. So if there's any time there's something here, it's, oh, you just clap your hands, and then you have it. And now I've got it. Very, very easy. And all I have to do is there's me grabbing the pressure point. Now, I can also just grab his hand this way, in which case I'm going to take my thumb and put it right here. This is triple warmer 3. And so I'm going to grab triple warmer 3. I grab his thumb on this side. Over here, I'm grabbing his thumb. I grab triple warmer 3, and I just squeeze like that. And this is very easy for me to put him down. I just go like this. There it is. See? Now I can combine that. So instead of trying to get this pincher move here, I can just grab, see how my fingers are just grabbing sloppy. But I have my thumb in the right place here. But with this hand, I can be touching lung 8, and I can put those together. Or what I can do is I can grab lung 8 on this side and just use the palm of my hand, what's called heart 8, to touch his triple warmer 3. And if I do that, I have this slight lifting motion at the end, which is what we see in the kata basai, is that there's this sort of, yeah, so you don't just put the hands down in the old ways of doing it. There's this kind of motion and just this little, almost like you're lifting up right at the end of the movement, and that's that last piece. Now, if I'm doing that, what happens is, see where that elbow is. Now, if I'm standing this way, his elbow's right there, and that means that I can lift my knee and put pressure on it against his shoulder. So all I have to do then with the other hand is lift. If on the other hand, I do it a little less twisting and a little more, bringing it up here, Now, as I go to my movement in the kata, instead of, there's nothing here for me to knee. Well, there is, actually. It's right here. Boom. But this is my new target right there. So I get to stomp his leg. In that case, I'm aiming for spleen 6. So you understand that even when a technique doesn't go the way I'm planning it, that's okay. There's always something. Yes. So I'm never worried about this. And all I did was the kata. And the kata said, oh, well, he's in the wrong place. But look, there's a point. You just do the technique. You'll end on the point. Kata is very, very smart. So this is going to be this motion out of Basai. If we just observe it from the perspective of some really basic concepts. So if he grabs two-hand lapel grabs, that means he's either going to do a knee strike or he's going to do a headbutt. And to stop that, if you just push the elbows together, it's very difficult. He can't do the headbutt because his own arms are in the way. And he can't do the knee strike because his hip is being pushed backwards. Now, or what I can do is when he grabs, he's maybe thinking of doing that knee strike, I can move off the line. And then he misses me. He's going to do the head strike. I move off the line and he misses me. So the footwork takes me offline. So I want to be redundant. And I'm going to do both. So I bring my hands like this to bring his elbows together, and I move offline. This puts me in the position, so I'm moving into a water stance, a kakedachi, sometimes it's called. And I can place, depending on how he turns his body, in this case, the way he's facing me, I'm going to lay my little knuckle on his stomach 6, and I'm going to tap it, like that. You okay? Now that second slap, the one where I slapped you over here, that helps move the energy back and gets things going again. Now, by the way, a lot of our training, because it's in armor, it doesn't hurt as much. And we do tons of basics and work on body movement. So because you're coming from India and I'm trying to force feed your brain a different way of thinking about kata, it's meaner. It hurts more. Regular training always has some hurt in it, but there's also hundreds of repetitions of punch and kick and get your foot positions right and stuff like that. So it's not hours and hours of pure pain. Yes. It's just in order to get you to think differently about your kata, as Professor Wally J used to say, pain makes believers.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. So once you experience it, you're like, okay. And so you just have to understand that this is particularly very short period of time. You need to get your brain to think differently. The only way to do that is to push through the mental barriers. And nothing does that like the way techniques really work.
Yes.
Yes. Because once you have gotten down on the floor and then had to come up again 5 times, you're like, okay, I get it. So off this two-hand grab again. My elbows are in to control. I have one hand forward, the other hand is the top hand is the one I'm going to use for hitting, smacking, or even just as an eye jab. And I'm doing this off this line, so that does mean that I'm crushing one arm a little more than the other. Notice how that brought his head into perfect position. I'm not having to reach. So when I make this twisting motion in the kata, his head literally comes to my hand, and he always places a point there. Right now, because I hit him before on stomach 6, and he's feeling shy about stomach 6, he gave me stomach 7 instead, which then if I hit that one, that would could potentially dislocate his jaw. So, and then if I did that, he would start giving me something else. He'd probably move up to stomach 7 or 8, and he'd just give me another point up the line. So it's really, really easy to do this. And it's a completely natural motion, and this is just what the kata is teaching. So all I'm doing is the kata. The kata has all of these elements in it. The kata has all these elements in it. Yep. One of the things about this point, long 8, is I can grab it this way, but I can also do it if I don't want to grab. If I lay my hand right here like this, and I just twist my arm, pull my elbow down, and draw my hand towards my waist, it works the same way. So grab with this hand so you can see. So in other words, I put my arm on top of his. See how my elbow is elevated and my arm is on top of his arm? So I have to do 2 things. So my arm is going to pull, my elbow is going to pull this way and pull back to my hip. And at the same time, my arm is going to rotate this way. That's how I activate the pressure point. So he grabs, and I come here and I do this. Look where his head is. See, his head ends up down here. So here's how this works in application. There's a technique called tetsui uchi, or soto uke, and it looks like this. Right? It looks like this. So if he's grabbing me, he probably wants to punch me in the face. So I go here, crap, I don't want to get hit. But I'm set up to do soto uche. So now I come here, that pulls down, and there's his head. So as his head's coming downward, I want to smash his head. I want to hit down onto his neck. Okay, so I'm going to be here. He's throwing a punch, so I go 1, 2. Yeah, that's enough for your brain? Okay. All right. So this is Rahul Kumar from India who came to train with us, and so some of this sharing is just so that you kind of see some of the things we were working on and understand that there are different layers to training. And the first layer, when you first are being exposed to Kyushu Jitsu, is the part where the whole point is to destroy your brain, to overwhelm you with, oh my goodness, I had no idea that's what it was for. That makes all the difference. I don't know anything, it's a kind of, it breaks down, actually what it does is it breaks down our ego barriers, because when we train a long time, we get very much invested in how we've always done it. And so to have that ego barrier destroyed is really, really useful, because it forces us to sort of be honest again, and we start over and we recognize the deepest truth of all, which is no matter how long you train, you are never anything more or anything less than a student. That's true for him, that's true for me, that's true for the white belt off the street, anyone. We are never more or less than a student. So thanks for watching, and now go train.
Thank you so much, Sugiyos.
Sure.